we're going to start out with our favorite segment, the Game of the Week. Isaac, why don't you tell the folks what our Game of the Week is?
All right, folks, our Game of the Week is going to be second-ranked Ohio State traveling to Eugene to face the third-ranked Oregon Ducks at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday night.
Yes, this is a big game rematch from 3 years ago when Oregon went to the Shoe and ended up knocking them off. I think I can't remember where Ohio State was ranked. I think they were ranked in the top 5. But yeah, Oregon ended up going into Columbus and coming out with the win. And that would actually prove to be a horrible loss for Ohio State, as they would end up losing to Michigan at the end of the year and not make the Big Ten championship or the college football playoff. So this is going to be a big-time rematch with completely different teams, which is crazy. This is a big-time Big Ten matchup for obvious reasons. You got the number 2 rank versus the number 3 rank. Both teams coming in undefeated. Oregon this season, they got out to a slow start. They have 2 close wins against Idaho and Boise State, but now they seem to kind of come into form a little bit, getting big wins over Michigan State. Ohio State really hasn't played anybody yet. It took them 5 weeks to finally play a Power 4 opponent, and now they have wins against Iowa and Michigan State as well. The ESPN FPI has given Ohio State a 64% chance to win this game, and the spread is Ohio State at 3.5. Someone's going to leave this game with an L, and someone is going to continue on undefeated. I'm really glad I'm not picking first, because this one's kind of tough. Isaac, who you got?
You know, Mason, this might be the toughest pick to this point in the season. You know, it's at Oregon. Oregon looking to win and clinch I was going to call it a home and home because they did win in Columbus a couple of years ago, but of course now they're in the Big Ten, so it's not a home and home. It's just another conference game. Ohio State, I don't think has looked great against anybody to this point. They started slow against Marshall. You know, they started kind of slow against Iowa. They started slow against I can't remember who it was they played the week before Marshall, but they've just slowly put it together. Listen, I'm the last guy to get hyped up on Ohio State. Oregon, though, Oregon started slow this year. I mean, you know, now they're starting to kind of put it together. They had a really good game this past week against Michigan State, which I expected. 3.5-point favorites in favor of the Buckeyes. Man, this one's going to be tough on Saturday night. Whew. Everything about me wants to go with Ohio Fake, but I'm going to have to go with the Ducks. I like Oregon on Saturday night in Eugene, an upset over Ohio State. I don't know if I like them to cover. I mean, 3.5 points, kind of odd. Definitely by a field goal, maybe by a touchdown. This one's tough, but I like the guys from Eugene.
I was just looking at some stats because you mentioned them starting out slow, and the only team that they've both played is Michigan State. In the first half against Michigan State, Ohio State scored 24 points. In the first half against Michigan State with Oregon scored 21 points. So obviously 2 different teams, 2 different games, 2 different game plans, different schemes, all that. I'm not, transitive property doesn't really work. I just think it's an interesting thing to point out. If that's the only team they both played, interesting comparison. Oregon, they have that pretty good defense, but man, Ohio State, they got that really good offense. They do get out to some slow starts sometimes, but they end up finishing strong. But I'm with you, man. I don't know. That Oregon team, dude, they got some dudes, and I think that they're a scrappy team. They've had some close wins, and they've just blew out UCLA. They've just blew out Michigan State. Give me Oregon at home in a close one. I think they're going to be rocking at the nighttime game in Eugene, and I think that Autzen Stadium is just going to be a little too much for the good old Buckeyes. This is not the Shoe. This is Eugene. Give me the Ducks in this game. And Joey is picking Ohio State. So we're going 2 against 1 in this one.
Man, I wasn't sure how that one would shape out, but we got the Ducks in that one.